It's Hayley Clover, your host of CMO Weekly, and we are back with another episode brought to you by our sponsor, OpenFortune. OpenFortune has changed marketing forever by putting ads into fortune cookies and distributing them through 100,000 restaurants in over 30 countries worldwide. In a world where consumers are seeing 3,000 to 5,000 ads a day, OpenFortune is helping your brand surprise and delight those consumers while breaking through the noise. So thank you to OpenFortune for making this episode possible. All right, everyone, today's guest is helping bring a fresh local spin to online gaming in Canada. Chavdar Dimitrov is the CEO of Betty Canada, a new kind of iGaming company built just for players in Ontario. He helped launch Betty from the ground up after nearly 10 years leading engineering at a major gaming tech company. Now he's focused on growing Betty Canada through smart partnerships like their new deals with the Toronto Raptors and the Maple Leafs, and creating an experience that feels fun, safe, and made for Canadian players. Chavdar, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited to chat a bit more and just learn about Betty. Obviously, we're at this conference and I've seen Betty's sponsorship all over the place this week, so I'm excited to learn more, but usually I'd love to start and just learn a bit more about your experience and how you kind of brought yourself all the way to now when co-founding Betty.
Of course. I started my career as a software engineer, as a computer science graduate, a few years in the industry as an engineer. And then in 2013, I got drawn into the iGaming industry with Beat Gaming. Spent almost 9 years there. Amazing journey. It was a B2C business at the beginning, then moved into a B2B. Learned a lot, met tons of great people. And then 2022, the right moment came, and the fortune met me with Justin. And yeah, we started Betty together.
That's amazing. So you had an instant passion, would you say, for the gaming industry when you found yourself at Beat?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I had some touch points throughout my life, younger life. I love betting myself.
Okay.
Not sports betting and not the traditional casino. I love playing cards with friends, and it's always been a passion of mine.
Fun. So tell everyone a little bit about Betty in general, and then we'll kind of dive into the marketing strategies and storytelling that you all are doing right now.
Of course. Well, a little bit of background. The success of Betty is to a huge degree driven by our in-house acquisition capability that was brought to the table from day one. We're spending marketing dollars very efficiently, and this helped us grow at this pace so far. What we're seeing right now is that we started to, I would say, consolidate with the wider market in terms of customer acquisition cost. So what we need is create that split between performance marketing and brand marketing in order to elevate to the next level. And the MOSC deal is a step in that direction. Also, we have a lot of new roles open up here in the Toronto office for brand marketing, social media, all aspects that will put the brand out there even more than what we see today.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was telling you before we started rolling that my last guest was saying he heavily follows Betty's marketing and what you all are doing on social media and just in general, and that a lot of what you do is super fun and it feels like you're marketing in the correct ways. Are there specific campaigns that you have really loved, as of late that Betty has kind of put out there to the world?
We had a few really, really successful ones. One of them was Find Betty. Our marketing team was just sticking stickers around town here, and it was super popular. There's a lot more to come, actually, in the brand marketing space. We have been really focused on Google AdWords and social media, but in the coming months you'll see us out there. We locked a few deals, not only with MOSC, with other major events, so it's going to be fun.
That's exciting. So why the switch or more focus into brand marketing now instead of maybe what you were traditionally doing?
The reason is we started doing our brand surveys, and we see that our brand awareness score is not where our competitors are, and there is room for us to grow in that direction. And of course we want to get to number one in Ontario, and that's the way.
Yeah.
We need to elevate the brand improve the whole funnel, and at the end, conversion is what we specialize in, but the top of the funnel is where we're currently lacking. And
Sure.
That's the investment.
Bringing more people in, and then you all have kind of been experts in keeping them there and keeping loyal customers.
Yeah, we're indexing pretty high in that part. Our retention is tremendous. We still have the customers that we acquired back in February, March 2023, in the first 2 months of operation, and retention is improving. So we're doing something right on the product side and on the service side as well.
Yeah, of course. So with the storytelling that you all have, and as you kind of start to continue thinking about brand marketing, how is it that you all want to position yourself in the market? What is that, I guess, tone of voice that you really want Betty to have to those new consumers that are going to find you?
Yeah, so first of all, Betty was created specifically for Ontario. It was fine-tuned, it was not just taken from another market and posted in Ontario. It was created for Ontario. And we also have about 50 people in the Ontario office that works directly with the customers. What we want to achieve is appeal to the casual players. We started the business as a female-focused brand, which is still the case. We're skewing a little bit above 50% female.
Awesome.
Again, this is not public information, but most of the operators, to my knowledge, are about 30% female, 40% female. We're hitting a higher ratio, and we want to maintain that. We want to appeal to the entertainment-seeking player audiences, not just the hardcore players. We have all of them, but we want to be really well distributed.
Well, and I believe that stat. I mean, obviously, without looking it up and doing the research on the exact number, because the conversations that I've been having, most of the demographics we've been talking about, they are male consumers or players, and so it's really interesting to find kind of that niche. Even though, gosh, women make up half of the world, why is it even niche? It seems obvious that there should be a platform for women to go and find that same entertainment. Do you find that the marketing strategy or any of that storytelling is different when you're focusing on a female-centric product versus maybe some of the companies that you've been in the past that maybe had a male focus?
There is a strategy there, and the main pillar of this strategy is the content. We're slots only. The slots are front and center. Some of our competitors have both sports and slots, and this confuses the
player,
the slot seeker, and it draws from the attention of the operator to manage both. That is one of the key advantages.
Yeah.
Another one is all these ease of use or removal of barriers approaches that we adopted.
Yeah.
It's the minimal deposits of $1. It's no withdrawal limits, again, instant withdrawals from 99% of our transactions. No wagering requirements on the bonuses. So we really try to cater to these casual players, recreational players.
Yeah.
We want to make it fun.
I think that's interesting to mention because for those who maybe have known about online slots but haven't played them, taking away some of the mystery of I need to spend all of my money to be able to play this game is important. You can go and get your entertainment very inexpensively. Like you said, you can play for $1 if you wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, we know what inflation did to the prices in the past few years.
Yeah.
You can play for less than a coffee at Betty. That's our strategy, and we also have additional layers of entertainment. For example, right now at Betty, you don't even need to deposit in order to play. We have this concept of playing with Betty coins. So if you have played for a while, you can accumulate this virtual currency, which it's either something you can exchange in our loyalty shop, or you can even play slots with that, and the denomination is much lower than cash play, so you can really extend your session time and fun with this currency.
Yeah, interesting. That is fun. I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about your partnership strategy. So mention that you have new partnerships with the Leafs, and I think it was the Raptors. Um, that's really exciting, and obviously those big brands bring in a ton of eyeballs. What is the strategy with maybe partnering with sports teams in general, or how do you go about deciding who you're going to partner with?
Yeah, the Leafs and Raptors deal is very special. This is the biggest sponsorship available in Canada, and it's hard to explain in words. But when we started the conversation, I was there at the arena. I experienced the vibe. I experienced the sense of community. It's not about the sports element. It's about the community. It's about that passion for the teams, for something common. And it really, really resonated with what we're trying to achieve at Betty. And the energy between our team and the MLSC team, it really clicked. It wasn't at all costs. I think neither for them nor for us. But at the end of the day, it really worked out.
Yeah, I really like how you put that, because I haven't necessarily heard it in that way. It's thought about maybe the eyeballs and the amount of people that are watching sports, not only in person but on TV. But you're so right, because I'm a big sports fan, and I know that with my teams, I absolutely feel that tight connection to somebody else immediately when they say to me, "Oh, you're also a Buffalo Bills fan? That's incredible."
Yeah.
So yeah, not only taking that and then connecting it to your brand name, voice, the energy of it really does bring in, new players or get them excited to check you out.
Yeah. Well, one has to feel it. It's not something that you can explain. It's really amazing. I have been on the streets of Toronto when these playoff games were happening in the past several weeks. I think throughout May and June.
Yeah.
It was immense.
It's electric, yeah. Do you use that type of buzz as a metric almost in how you look at success, or is it very, performance based? Obviously, getting into brand awareness a bit more, some of it is kind of that like word of mouth and feeling a vibe with the campaigns that you're running at that time. But does that play a part at all in how you measure success?
Yeah. One of the key indicators that I'm following is our Trustpilot score. It currently stands at 4.4.
Okay.
Which is probably likely the highest in Ontario.
Yeah.
And yeah, when we were discussing the MLSC deal, I think Leafs is also one of the most trusted, if not the most trusted brand.
Sure.
Sports brand, at least in Ontario. So these two really speak to each other. Yeah, it's definitely very, very important to us to follow that, what people say about us, what is the feedback in the public platforms like Trustpilot, Reddit, but also with all chats that we're getting directly from customers. Our customer service team is about 60 people. We don't do AI bots, despite this being a hype now. We don't do trying to hide the chat button somewhere so that we get less traffic. Actually, we embrace that. We want to be on the front line. We want players to feel comfortable asking questions, escalating. Even why not having just a casual chat? That's also welcome.
Well, you all have a fairly big social media presence, correct? You're using, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you have influencers doing some things on TikTok that you're making content, and it's got to be another really great way to connect with consumers and hear immediately what they're thinking, because people are not scared to share their opinions on social media.
That's right. Yeah, we have our own social media channels. We're posting there often, and yeah, we follow what people say about us.
Has that social media presence kind of always been part of the strategy, or is that ramped up within the last couple of years?
At the beginning, it was not. We started creating these social channels last year with the opening of the Toronto office.
Yeah.
Before that, it was just people remotely, and we had people on the ground, but without the physical space.
Right.
Last year, we started the physical space. We grew it to about between 40 and 50 people. And the marketing team is here on the ground. So we're really proud of what has been achieved so far.
Yeah. You're all growing really quickly. How do you continue that growth rate over the next few years?
We're looking into that.
That must be the $1,000,000 question, right?
It
It's like,
is.
how do we continue to grow, but then grow quicker?
Yes. Obviously, we should continue to do what we do
Yeah.
and not lose sight of all the great things that brought us to where we are right now. At the same time, we're looking to expand the business, and you mentioned Delta Bingo, and I will drop the bomb here. We're looking to launch a bingo offering as well.
Interesting. That's
Yes.
exciting.
It really resonates with our demographic and with our values. We want to make gaming entertaining, casual, and the bingo vertical is the best fit for that. So stay tuned in the next.
Yeah, so there's already some
months.
big ideas percolating and that you're all looking into. That's
There will be
interesting.
something there.
That's great. If you had to kind of look at the iGaming space just in general, how do you see it moving within the next 5 years? You know, do you see just the growth within different areas of Canada, or regulations changing in a different way? How do you view that?
Oh, we saw the panel yesterday, and Alberta is coming up.
Yeah, it's exciting. I heard that too.
More provinces, I think, start to recognize that there is demand for gaming, and whether it's channeled through regulated operators or it's just in the gray area, that's an opportunity for the Canadian provinces to make it safer, more responsible, and really take a cut of that instead of this money outflowing. I'm expecting that more and more provinces will follow suit after Alberta.
Yeah.
I'm hoping, as a CEO of Bet Canada, this is my roadmap, I'll say.
For sure. Yeah, I think it's exciting. As I've talked to people within not only the US space, but in Canada as well, a lot of people are creating strategy, but at the same time waiting and hoping that some of the other areas are opening up so that they can continue to grow in those ways. And I know for sure in the US, they all thought it would happen at least 10 years ago. And, we're kind of still waiting on certain states to open up. So it is interesting how long of a process that is, but how open-minded some people are now, becoming, and how things are shifting.
There is a snowball effect for sure. People get more educated. There was uncertainty 3 years ago what will happen with Ontario.
Yeah.
I think the general consensus is that it was successful. And then, the more provinces take on that trend, I think the more comfortable the general population will get with that. And also the political parties as representatives of that population.
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of folks that are even just kind of iGaming enthusiasts at these conferences, and some that are even trying to start their own business and learn from others that have done similarly to what you've done. Do you have any advice for those people that are newly in the iGaming space or kind of looking for their niche within this business? How to, one, either get started, or just kind of overall advice of how to make it in this industry?
As any other industry, focus on the customer. That is the advice I can give for everyone. Everything that we did so far was with this first principle in mind. Like, whatever is good for the customer would be good for the business.
I really like that, and it's funny, I don't know whether it's because we're in Canada and you all look at it a bit differently, or, I just don't know as much about, I'm sure that's how it is in the US, but there's such a distinction on responsible gaming, making sure that the consumer is not spending their monies in ways that's irresponsible. You want everybody to be able to be entertained and have fun, but not at the expense of their livelihood.
Of course.
Which I think is awesome and so important. I do have a question too. I learned, a lot from some of these other interviews about how much charity money has been raised just through this industry in general. Is Betty involved in any of that type of giving back aspect of this world?
We will be.
Yeah.
And bingo actually stipulates that.
Okay.
1.5% of the GGR generated online, if you're running iBingo, goes to charities, and we want to embrace that fully.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think that's great. Being able to not only offer this type of entertainment and fun and then give back at the same time, what a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, this was amazing and so fun to learn a bit more about, Betty and where you all are moving. I'd love to get into kind of our rapid fire questions round here, if that's okay.
Sure.
Some quick questions, whatever pops into your mind, that's your answer. It's just to learn more about you and the guy behind Betty Canada. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
All right. What is your favorite city in the world?
New York City.
Oh, I love that. And where are you from? Tell everyone. I know we talked about this before, but
Sofia, Bulgaria.
that's awesome. But what is it about New York City?
Well, just the scale is immense and spectacular being there. I've spent time with Justin. It's an amazing city.
Yeah, it is. The energy is amazing in New York. Is there a person, dead or alive, that you'd most like to sit down to dinner with?
Yeah, I'm a huge car racing fan.
Oh, I love
And-
this. What kind of cars?
Well, I myself drive just what is it called? Auto track days, like DEs. I think
Okay.
it's called in the US.
Yeah.
We just call it track days in
fun.
Bulgaria. I follow F1 for sure. So right now, Max Verstappen is the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really passionate about what he does, and we can see it right now, even with not the best car.
Yeah, he's incredibly talented,
Yeah,
for sure. In 30 years, what do you think people will be nostalgic for?
The human interaction.
I hope you're wrong, but I think you're probably right. Has anyone ever given you really great advice or really bad advice? And if so, what was it?
The great one is to believe in myself. I probably have forgotten the bad ones.
That's good. Yeah, one ear and out the other. That's how it should. What's a totally random skill or hobby that you have that has nothing to do with your business? Obviously, you drive cars, which is pretty cool.
That's probably top one. The second one I would say is painting.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. Paint with acrylics, oils, all
oils
those things.
well. I don't do it often, but it's one of these talents that when people see something like that, then it's like,
Yeah,
was that you?
I can't draw or paint or anything like that. It's like stick figures and that's about it. Is there one app that you can't live without, say on your phone?
That's a tough one. I'd say Revolut.
Okay.
Yeah, I love the innovation, the simplicity, and instant payments is something that is way overdue.
Yeah, I agree. What brand's marketing is always making you smile? Is there a specific brand, and it can be outside of the gaming space, that you just love what they're doing?
Controversial, but Ryanair's marketing.
Oh, yeah.
It's very fun.
It's fun. It's funny. It's really funny. Yeah, that's a great answer. And that's something that the US needs. Oh my gosh, that low-cost airline. I love when I'm in Europe and I'm able to use them. It's so nice, so easy to get places.
Yeah, one of the quotes that I captured recently was, "We don't charge for clapping customers yet."
Yeah, exactly. That's so funny. Oh man. Okay, coffee or tea? What's powering your mornings?
Oh, coffee, 100%.
Anything in it, or is it black?
Just espresso, no sugar, nothing.
Love that. I read an article the other day that said people that are drinking straight coffee or espresso multiple cups a day can actually help your memory. And I was like, yay, that's a win for all of us.
Yeah.
Okay, and then last question. If you were not doing what you're doing right now, not working on strategy, what do you think you would be doing?
It will definitely be something with cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my passion. It's a hobby. If I'm not doing what I'm doing, software engineering, building products, iGaming, this is where my career led me to. But cars are a passion of mine that I would probably start a small car shop.
That's great. That's so cool. Well, and it's awesome. It's a good hobby that you can continue to do forever. So that was a good choice. Well, Chavdar, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate all the background and sitting down to take some time out of your conference schedule to give us a little bit of insight into Betty. And if everybody wanted to find Betty or follow along, where can they find you all on social media and online?
BettyCA is the website if you want to see the product. We have the iOS app already in the App Store, restricted to Canada, and Android is coming next month.
Amazing.
And yeah,
And look
LinkedIn.
out for all the new products coming, coming soon.
Yeah, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, we're everywhere.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much, and thank you everybody for listening. This is another episode of CMO Weekly, brought to you by Open Fortune, and we will be back soon with more fun conversations. We'll see you soon.